Hello. Hello. Is my screen is visible, sir?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay, because I have only one laptop today, so I don't see other things. So in between any problems, please tell me, sir.
Yes, sir.
So today's session we will start with the topic called evaluation. So usually this topic or syllabus point is connected, linked with this teaching aptitude only. But in NTET syllabus, they have mentioned in the assessment methods. In that point, they have given the evaluation and assessment methods and credit based method evaluation. So a different point in the NTET. So, but we are continuing with the evaluation with teaching aptitude only. So, for the better understanding. So, evaluation. So, what is the evaluation system? So, can anyone tell evaluation and assessment both are same or different? Assessing and evaluating both are same or different? Measurement, assessment, and evaluation. These terms are generally we will confusion with these terms, and we think that all are equally. We think that all are same. Give the same meaning. Whether these are same or have some different meanings or different purpose of using the measurements, evaluation, and assessment. So, as all of you know, we think that all are same, but actually there is a difference between these two. That's why they given in the assessment methods and evaluation. So both are somewhat difference is there in between these two methods, assessment methods and evaluation. So now we will start evaluation. So what is evaluation? Evaluation plays an enormous role in the teaching learning process. So what is this? In teaching learning process, teacher will teach, the learner, student will learn. So in this teaching learning process, so if you don't make the evaluation, then how will we know about whether teaching is going good, whether learners are learning whatever our objects are there, whether the learning outcomes are happening or teaching method is good or not, whether this teaching learning process is achieving their goal or outcome, how will we assess? That is based on the evaluation. So evaluation plays an enormous role in the teaching learning process. So it helps teacher and learner both. Evaluation process helps teacher and learner to improve teaching and learning. So evaluation is a continuous process and a periodic exercise. So without evaluation, we can't tell that teaching learning method is going good or bad, whether teaching method is good, whether learning outcomes are happening or not. So that's why the evaluation plays the enormous role in the teaching learning process. Then it helps in the forming the values of judgment. Forming the values of judgment. So value of judgment is important term. Based on this only the differentiation will there between assessment and evaluation. So it helps in the forming the values of judgment, educational status, achievement of the students. Evaluation in one form or other is inevitable in teaching learning, as it all fields of activity of education judgments need to be made. So it is inevitable. Without evaluation, there is a no teaching learning. There can be different elements in the evaluation system that are associated with teacher, student, and evaluation system. So in this evaluation, different elements are involved, like teacher. The evaluation system consists of three major components. First one is teacher, student, and evaluations elements. So these three components are there in this evaluation system. So in evaluation elements, now we will further studying in the evaluation system point. What to evaluate? क्या evaluate करना है वो this point element the evaluation system elements में first what to evaluate, the purpose of evaluation, why is the evaluation is conducted, क्या evaluate करना है, purpose of evaluation क्या है, why is the evaluation conducted. आंसर क्या है इसका, to improve the study material. अगर हमने evaluate कर दिया कुछ कोर्स के बाद और कुछ टर्म्स के बाद कुछ महीने के बाद हमने स्टूडेंट्स को एवेल्युएट कर दिया, सो एवेल्युएशन में हमको अच्छे रिजल्ट नहीं मिला, so better judgment we can't made, so learning is poor, then it will helps to improve the study material. To determine and analyze the learning outcomes, whether the learning outcomes are done with learning outcomes are actually happened or not happened. To determine, analyze the are learning outcomes are happened in the which level the learning outcomes are happened. To satisfy the administrative requirements. इसका मतलब है to satisfy administrative requirements means, for example, the whole after the evaluation, the entire result of that college, that institution, that university, they will use that evaluation results for the administrative requirements. Based on this evaluation or ranking only, the institution will graded according to the NAC A plus, A plus. So this institution is best, this one is worst. We all grade based on this evaluation. If the result is result of student or evaluation, based on evaluation, if 90% students are passing in that college, we can tell that there is a better teaching learning is happening in that institution. So to satisfy administrative requirements, so to improve the study materials, to determine and analyze the learning outcomes, why is the evaluation is conducted. Answer for this is this. The purpose of evaluation, what to evaluate, क्या evaluate कर रहे हैं हम, whom to evaluate, who is the target audience or recipient of evaluation. So किसको evaluate करना है, it depends on target audience in school children's or recipient whom from who we are evaluating, the recipient, the audience, target audience or recipient of evaluation. In our class, the target audience, for example, if you are evaluating the students of first year BMS, the first year BMS students are target audience. For second year one. But in certain conditions, certain situation, the recipient in recipient also we term as a recipient of evaluation. So recipient or target audience whom we are evaluating, the students or audience or recipient. In the broader sense, they have given these words, recipient or target audience. Sometimes the evaluation will done for entire class or any specific group of students. Sometimes if in 100 batch students, only 10-15 students are lacking behind, so for them, or if any special condition is there with student, whether they are foreigners or any other problems with that group of student, we may make the evaluation of that specific group of students also, or any individual. If in that class, if any single individual, single student is weak, or you want to evaluate that that student individually, that is also possible. Whom to evaluate, entire class or any specific group of student or any individual you can evaluate. So the audience will determine the type of information to be collected and reported. The audience, based on the audience or based on the student, we will determine the type of information and collect the information and report will be done. So the information and data is collection and reported is depends on the audience. If school children are there, So what are the information related to school children is different. If adult students or adult learners are there, the information is different. So the reporting is also different. In school children's, their evaluation reports we will give to their parents. But in adults learning in higher education, they report they themselves. We will provide the report to the student only. That is the concept. So techniques and methodology according to the audience. So techniques, methodology according to the audience. So we can sometimes evaluate the techniques and methodologies also according to the audience, whether it is suitable methodology or suitable technique for that audience for teaching learning purpose. We can also evaluate the techniques or methodology according to the audience. It depends on the audience, target audience. Now, how to evaluate? These are the general concept. Later on, as we move on, so you will understand what are these things. Just now listen one time. You can simply understand how much you can understand. That knowledge we will clear in the next slides. So how to evaluate? These elements help to determine what data collection instruments, whether we are taking questionnaires, mock drills, which and type of analysis are needed to provide answer to the questions or objectives of that have been determined. How to evaluate? So these are the evaluation techniques suitable to fulfill the objectives. Different techniques are there to how in the question of how to evaluate. For example, you can take the interview simply based on observation, or practical examinations, viva, or third party evaluations. So what is mean of interview? Face to face interview can be taken to evaluate that particular person or recipient's knowledge, or for any purpose of the different purposes are there, the multiple purposes are there for the evaluation. For example, if any UPSC aspirant, he cleared the UPSC entrance exam, he will call for the interview. So in interview, he will evaluated for the whether he is fitted to that UPSC post, that is IAS, IPS post or not. The evaluation will done on the interview. That is the one type. These are the methods different based on the objective. Which objective? Based on the objective, the suitable methods we will use. Interview and observation method we will use in the based on the observate we will evaluate the learning process or teaching learning outcomes by observation only. While for example, in doing the uh, uh, when students are posted in the hospital, when the students are in the internship process, we will observe the student, how that student is examining the patients, how they are taking the history, and how they are performing. So everything we will observe. Just by observation we will evaluate the some uh, whether he is correct or not. In practical exam, bedside exam, the clinician just simply observes what he is doing, how he is examining, general examination, systemic exams. So based on observation also we can evaluate. So that is the different techniques for evaluation to fulfill the objectives. Then practical. In practical means you have to do the practically that things based on the practical. For example, preparing the slides. So everything that type of things we can evaluate based on the objective. You can you choose the practical examination, viva. So viva is also one of the method of evaluation. In viva we will ask the around 5 to 10 questions, and we will evaluate the outcomes or knowledge of the student. Then third party evaluation. Third party evaluation means the outside examiner or external, what we call, that persons will evaluate the students or learners. That is the third party evaluation. Even the third party evaluation comes under in our national programs. Government of India sometimes what happens, new programs or new schemes they will launch, for example anemia prevention. So particular drug or particular methods, whether they are efficient effective or not. If government has given these certain programs or certain schemes to the certain government state governments, whether that what is the outcome of that program or that scheme, so they will evaluate that program or scheme with the third party persons. Third party persons means these persons not at all belong to that program or scheme. These persons are external to that program or scheme. That persons will evaluate that program or scheme and they will give the report. That is the evaluation. Third party evaluation matlab they are outsiders. They are not related to any way related to that program or scheme. Like that in colleges also, third party evaluator, he is not a part of our college or school. He is from external. That is the meaning of this third party evaluation. Then who will evaluate? कौन evaluate करता है? So examiner for practical viva, examiner evaluate कर सकते हैं. Student, sometimes students himself or his peer or his colleague can evaluate. For example, if someone writing the research paper, so he himself can review, or he can use the peers help, or whether his demonstration or any skill, whether it is good or bad. So by answering question, whether I am able to do this thing, whether he is answering yes or no type of questions, so he can judge himself whether I am good in these things or not things. So certain checklist will be there for certain things. To self evaluation, student evaluation means students sometimes they will evaluate themselves whether I am learning good, whether I am good in study or bad. So that is also students evaluation. Further we will see the examples, then you will understand. Then instructor, the teacher who teaches the that particular subject, he may evaluate the students or learners. And third party, peer or instructor. Peer of instructor means the teacher usually calls his classmates or batchmates his peer. If our Swastarutta external examination, third party evaluation, the instructor will call the examiner as his peer or his friend. That is the peer of instructor. Third party or external, what we call external person. Generally he is a peer of our instructor, our teacher. That is the concept. Third party or peer of instructor. So who will evaluate? Whether sometimes examiner will evaluate, sometimes student themselves evaluate, sometimes the instructor who is teaching teacher will evaluate, sometimes third party means external teacher will evaluate. Based on the objectives and based on the requirement, the evaluator will be different. Then after the evaluation, the analysis of result. So what is the outcome of the evaluation? Is it favorable or unfavorable? So what is the degree of learning, percentage achievement? So the answer will available after the evaluation. So analysis of result. So result will be analysis whether this particular teaching method is this methodology is favorable for the students or unfavorable. What is the degree of learning? How much percentage of students are learned? So what is the degree? Whether all the students are not able to understand these methods or subject, or 70% are learned, 30% are not. So to measure, analyze the degree of learning and percentage of achievement. Is the administration requirement fulfilled? So administration required means, so the institution or universities have to certain rules and regulation. If results are less than this percentage, then the institution will be closed. So like that, some terms and conditions will be there. So that type of administrative requirements, whether fulfilled or not, that is also comes under the analysis. These are the elements of evaluation, general one. one by one we are learning now. So it is the administrative requirement fulfilled or not. Analysis of result, is the methodology of teaching is appropriate or requires any improvement. So we will analyze that result of evaluation. So based on the what changes should be introduced in teaching methodology, this leads to the future action plan. So the result will be analyzed in this manner for these things. So then it leads to the future action plans. If in result, if you analyze, then the methodology of teaching is not appropriate for these students or learners, then we will lead to the future action. We will change the methodology. So if it requires improvement, then in future action plan, we will improve the teaching method. So that is the concept, analysis of result. Then reporting. So how to whom and when will the results of the evaluation to be reported, whether principal, management, head of the department, students, parents, guardians, counselors, etc. So it depends on the situation or condition. In usually in school education, the report cards will be, or reports or evaluation will be given to the parents and guardians. In higher education, the our results of net, CET, we will know ourselves. So result will be given to the students. The student is able to see his result by himself, or the reporting, the results are given to the students directly. So that is a different situations, different persons will receive the reports. How, to whom, when will the results of evaluation to be reported? Sometimes it should be given to the principal, it sometimes head of the departments after the test, assessment, periodical assessment. So everything we evaluated and give to the head of the department. Head of the department will give to the principal. So like that, it is not a constant. It depends on the that particular situation, different conditions and context. That is the, but reporting is a whom to report, how to report. The evaluation report is given to the identified audience. It will given to the identified whom we will give. That is the concept of reporting. So up to this, the general idea, it is clear. Elements of evaluation system. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay. So after this, one of the concept, measurement, assessment, and evaluation. These three terms comes in the every textbook or any material. If you see this, measurement, assessment, evaluation comes together. So measurement, assessment, evaluations, whether they are different, whether they are same, what is the concept? So different book have given different type of concept. So I can't get everything from one source. I have get these sources from multiple sources. That's why I have copy and pasted here. That's why my slides are different from one concept to another concept. So measurement and assessment evaluation. So there is a often misconception with identifying the difference between assessment and evaluation and measurements. So as measurement, assessment, and evaluation are different things, but there is a misconception identifying the difference between these three. That is the, what is the that difference, what is the misconception, we will learn now. So measurement, assessment, evaluation mean very different things, and yet most of the students were unable to adequately explain with these differences. Even students and some like teachers and some instructor also unable to know the difference, what is the difference between these things, because we will using in generally this assessment, evaluation in interchangeably. So that's why we don't have the clear cut idea. So that is the misconception. So what is the assessment, evaluation, we will see. So measurement. So what is measurement? Measurement is always numerical. So what is this Measurement refers to the process by which attributes or dimension of some physical objects are determined. The verb measure means discover the exact size, amount, etc. of the something or to be of a particular size. So numerical means in measurement, what will we do? We will measure or count. We will give the number for that particular object or that attribute को हमने एक numerical number or we can give the you can do the measurement of that thing. That is the measurement. So it means that measurement is how we rate and determine the performance of the student numerically. You will give the number to each every attributes, his knowledge, his behavior, everything. So measurement is always numerical. Measurement is simply referred as a process assigning the numbers or symbols to object for the characterizing things according to set of rules. It is used to categorize and quantify variables. It has to quantify individuals' achievement, personality, attitudes, habits, skills. It involves the quantification of observable phenomena. It is performed on the physical world by observer. Uh, Observer will give this numerical value. So here information collected about characteristic and attributes of thing can be determined and differentiated. So in this context, I will tell some concept, then you will understand what is the measurement. For example, in research, we have the concept like scales of measurement. Scales of measurement. All of you know the scales of measurement. What are the scales of measurement? Hello? All of you learned that the scales of measurement में आता है ना, broadly qualitative, quantitative, but we in this context know that the nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, and ratio scale. So measurement is always numerical. So to understand this concept, I am using the new concept or same thing, that is we have the four measurement scales. One is nominal, one is ordinal, another one is interval, another one is ratio scale. So in nominal scale, what will we do? Hello? Scales of measurements में nominal scale में क्या करते हैं हम? Simply we will give the name, whether Ajay, whether Satish. So like that we will give the nominal scale. Scale is the naming, or male or female. So later on in study में हमने क्या करते हैं, इजी एनालिसिस के लिए मेल को 1 नंबर देते, फीमेल को 2 नंबर देते, और you can give female as a 1 number or male को 2 number. It is the number itself is not having any importance. The number is only given for the identifying this nominal one. So if you write in the Excel sheet 1 means the gender, 1 means 1 indicates the male. If you write the 2 means it indicates the female. So like that, even though nominal scale, we will assign this some numericals for better calculation, better understanding. If you enter the M and F in the statistical software, it does not analyze that thing. So that's why we will give the assigning the number. All of you understood what is the numerical concept? Even though this is male and female or nominal scale, the numerical value you will give for the better calculation. Like that, here also attributes or behaviors also given the numbers based on the different set of rules or different set of methods से हमने एक numerical number assign करते हैं. That is the measurement. समझ में आ गया आपको? अगर hello, whether this nominal scale and giving the number concept clear or not? If yes bolo nahi to I will explain in the other way. Hello? Hello? So nominal scale का मतलब क्या है? Here the simply name will be there. In ordinal scale में क्या होता है? Ordinal means these are the names also, but having in the order low, medium, high. So like this, we can arrange these data into the low, medium, high, or one particular order, ascending to descending or descending to ascending order. That type of data, if you do that one, we call it as a ordinary scale of measurement. So here also, if we can assign the numbers, if low, you can give the number for 1 for the low, medium 2, high 3. So if you tell number 3 means it is high performance. The number itself does not have any value, but it is indicating the just we are representing the this high ordinal thing into the 3. So whether it is nominal, ordinal, these are qualitative data. Even though these are qualitative data, we are representing with some numericals to identify the that things. That is the concept here also goes. Whatever the measures we will measure, we will give the exact size, amount, particular size of the that thing. So the numerical should be there. So everything will be, we will represent with the numericals. In interval and ratio, these are the quantitative data. So we will in interval ratio and interval and ratio scale, we will use the weight, centimeter, height. So these are comes with unit. That is the concept of interval and ratio scale. So the definitely that will comes with the number. Height we will measure, weight we will measure. So like that things will comes under the number only. But even though attributes how to number that. So whatever thing are there, different on different set of rules, we will give the number in the measurement. That is the concept. Measurement is always numerical. So it is categorize or quantify the variables. That is the meaning. Categorize or quantify the variables to help the quantify individual achievement, personality, attitudes, habits, skills. Based on different certain rules, we will give the measurement. We will do the measurement, give the numbers for these things. You will understand step by step. Don't worry. Measurement in education. What we will measure in the education? एजुकेशन सिस्टम में क्या हम मेजर कर रहे हैं टुडे मेजरमेंट इन एजुकेशन इज मच डिफरेंट एंड मोर एडवांस विद द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ मेनी theories in education over time and assessment software system. This process various variables related to students mark grade are measured. Variables means you also know this concept in the research methods, variables. So that will vary. That is the variables, name, age, sex, blood pressure, everything that is varies with individual to individual. That is variables. So what are the various variables are related to students? We can measure is students aptitude and personality, aims of education, effectiveness of curriculum, useful of teaching methods. Everything you can measure in the education. Intelligence of the student, interest of the student, you can measure. We will give the measurement in the numerical forms. So type of measurements, direct measurements are there, indirect measurements and relative measurements are there. So direct measurements, indirect measurements, no need not to go that much. If time permits, I will explain in later on. Just you have to remember measurements. You will do direct measurement. What is direct measurement? If you are directly measuring that variable, that is direct measurement. For example, height, weight, we will measure directly. But heat, how much heat is there, how much light is there. So we are measuring the based on the certain parameters or indirect measurements. So light is, we can't see the a light directly. So we will measure it by different indirect methods. So like that, हीट को हमने बॉइलिंग सब्सटेंस के यूज करके हमने हीट. So like that, some things we can't measure directly, we will measure that one by indirect method. That is the indirect measurements. And relative measurements, relative means with relation to other thing we will measure the that variable. That is the relative measurement. So process of measurement. Measurement is a process which involves certain common steps in all fields, including education. So measurement, process of measurement includes these common steps. And even education also, these steps are valid, including education. As a teacher, you should be aware of this process so that you can follow same during teaching learning process. Measurement process involves 3 steps as follows. First, identifying and defining the attributes. Here attributes means what you want to measure. That are things called attributes, whether the intelligence of the students, whether the behavior of the student, whether knowledge of the student, whatever thing that are called as attributes. Defining and identifying that attributes. You will identify that attributes and define that attributes. What is the knowledge? So you will define that attributes. First step of measurement is identifying and defining attributes. Then determining the set of operations to isolate display the that attributes. So set of operations, what are the operations, what are the method to isolate that attributes and display that attributes. This is the operations from how we will determine the that particular attributes. That is the second step, determining the set of operations to isolate and display the attributes. How I will measure that knowledge, the set of operations will be there. So this is the second step. Then quantifying the attribute. Then quantifying means if height, for example, if I want to measure the height or weight, for example weight. So first I will identify the attribute weight of the student and height of the student. So it is difficult with writing with mouse. That's why my words are not clear. I am writing with mouse. So weight and height. So if you want to identify 2 attributes, weight and height, I want to measure. Then define what is weight, what is height. Then how to set of operations means how to measure this weight, how to measure this height. Weight by weighing machine, height by the tape. So these are the set of operation. Then third step, quantifying the attribute means here the weight is 50 kg. We will give the quantify, that is number 50 kg. The weight is 50 kg, height is 150 centimeter. So these 3 methods, measurement process involve these 3 common steps in the all the fields, including education. All of you understood this? Identifying, defining attributes and determining the set of operations and identifying the attribute, quantifying the attribute. With this example, you can easily remember this process of measurement. Whether all of you understood this? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
External attributes or characteristics could be directly measured. So that explanation of direct and indirect and relative measurements, this slide. What is direct measurements? Could be directly measured with high precision using various tools and devices. Example, height and length, volume, weight can be directly measured. This is the direct measurement. Heat, light, sound cannot be measured directly, measured only through effect they produce. Such kind of measures is called indirect measurements. In education, psychology, the measurement is very complex. We can't directly measure his knowledge, his behavior, his attitude. So, so that's why it is complex. There is a direct measurement is not possible. Students' achievement, comment, elegance, etc. are measured only by comparing them with his peers. This is called relative measurement. So someone behaving good or bad, how will we measure? We will compare with other student. If 50 students are there, 40 students are behaving one type, and 4 to 5 students are behaving differently. Then we will measure these 4 to 5 students behavior entirely different in the classroom. With his peers or with his colleagues, we will compare and measure. That is the relative measurement. With related to other things, if you measure that measurement, we call as a relative measurements. Knowledge directly we can't, it is difficult to directly measure he is ranker or not. We should compare with other students in classroom, how many get this percentage mark, then we will compare this much students get this marks, this students get. So then we will compare and give the measurement as he is first, he is second. So the relative measurements will be there in the, if single person is there, so he get 100 marks. So can you able to tell that he is good? 100 marks. To compare, some students will be there. Someone can score 99. So then only we can compare as 99 से 100 ज़्यादा है. So 70 से 99 ज़्यादा है. So like that, some things we will measure with relative measurements. That is the concept of relative measurements. So student behavior, achievements. This student has attended the 3 seminars. The other student not have. So like that, relative measurement will be there in the education and psychology. Then assessment next comes under, we will comes to the, all of you understood measurement. What is measurement? Briefly in 2 lines, if I can tell what is measurement. Measurement is a measuring the attributes or whatever things, variables we want to measure, and we will measure and give the numbers or numerical value for that attributes or variable. That is the measurement. Then assessment. Next is assessment. Assessment is the detection and analysis. Assessment is a systematic procedure for collecting information that can be used to make inference about the characteristic of people or objectives. Characteristic of people or objects, whatever thing you want to assess the information about that object or characteristic, we will collect. Procedure for collecting the information, and we will make the information inference. So this is the important in the assessment. In assessment, what will you do? We will gather the information or collect the information, then we will make the inference about the characteristic of peoples or objectives. Assessment is referred as a process of collecting evidence, making judgments relating to the outcomes. We will see this sentence. You will understand this sentence by later on. It is said that assessment has narrower meaning than evaluation, but broader meaning than measurement. Measurement fits in the center line. So this is, measurement. This is assessment. This is evaluation. So M means measurement, A means assessment, E means evaluation. So it is said that assessment meaning narrower meaning of evaluation. Evaluation से थोड़ा कम है, but broader meaning of the measurement. Measurement meaning से broader way. Assessment is in between, that is broader than measurements, so narrower than the evaluation. It is very near to the evaluation. That is the meaning of this sentence. It is said that assessment has a narrower meaning than the evaluation, but broader meaning than the measurement. Then it is derivation. The word assess means sit beside. The meaning of this assessment word they have explained here. Assist to judge. Remember these two words, to sit beside and to assist the judge. Judgment करने के लिए assist करता है. That's why इसको assessment word आ गया. It reflects that assessment is a process of gathering data and fashioning them into an interpretable form. Judgment can be made on the basis of the assessment. Without assessment, the judgment is not possible. So what we will do, we will gather the data in a form that it can be informative, and based on this gather or collection, you can easily infer the data. You can give the judgment about this data. So that process, gathering the data and fashioning them into interpretable form, we called as a assessment. So in parallel to, if you think about the biostatics also, there is a concept called data presentation, data analysis. So in similar lines, these things we can understood. So data presentation is also there. After that only we will analyze. So that is the similar like. So before giving the judgment, the data should be gathered and fashion them into interpretable form. This process is called as assessment. So it is narrower than evaluation, just helping the judgment. That is the assessment, but it is not final one. It is helping. Based on the assessment only, the judgment will be made. So that is the assessment. Is detecting, analyzing, interpreting the students' learning and progress. Assessment is a process by which information is obtained related to some known objective or goal. It is a various methods used by educators to measure and document the academic achievements and skills of students during preschool and adulthood. It is a process of inquiry to collect, synthesize evidence that concludes the status or quality of a program, product, person, policy, or proposal, or a plan. So assessment is a nothing but it is a process of inquiring and collecting that evidences, and that concludes the status of that program or that person or policy or proposal of a plan. So in the assessment stage mein kya hote hai? If you give this some for example assessors, NABH assessors, they will come and they will see, they will assess. So that is the, based on their assessment only they can judge whether the NABH permission should be given or not. So assessment is the base for the judgment. Without assessment, there is a no judgment. So evaluation will not happen. That is the concept of assessment. So these are the components of the this assessment. Now you don't see this thing. If you later on you will understand. So now I will not discuss because it will confuse the some concept. So it will be later on, you can read, or we can discuss in the later on components of the assessment. So here one example is there. Based on our knowledge up to what is measurement, what is assignment, all of you understood what is measurement and what is assessment up to this? Hello? So in this example, you apply that concept, what you understood. Here example, Preeti is a secondary school teacher. She conducted unit test in all the sections of 9th in her school. It was a 20 marks objective type test. Objective test the 20 marks ka. She collected and assessed all the answer scripts. She compiled the scores class-wise and also made the sum groups like above average, average, and below average. She returned the answer scripts with remarks like your performance is average, below average, and above average. She also identified some topics where large number of learners were not responded well and made mistakes. He decided to provide additional activities for those topics in order to facilitate learners. सो ये सेंटेंस आपने पढ़ा, प्रीति नाम का टीचर है, 9th क्लास स्टूडेंट को एक एग्जाम लिया है, टेस्ट लिया है वो 20 मार्क्स का, एंड ही चेक्ड द एग्जाम एंड बेस्ड ऑन द स्कोर he give the average student average, your marks is average, below average, and above the average, and she returned the answer scripts with remarks like your performance is average, below average, and above average. एग्जाम का पेपर में लिखा है वो, हर एक पेपर में your performance is average, below average, above average. So Based on that result, he also able to identify some topics where large number of students, particular question from particular topic, the or that particular subject, large learners are not correctly answered or not responded well and made the mistakes. Then he decided to provide additional activities for those topics in order to facilitate the learner. This is the statement. Based on above passage, mark in front of the following statement whether it was measurement or assessment. इस पे measurement क्या है, assessment क्या है, आपको लिखना है. For example, one first में क्या है, प्रीति assign the 1 mark for correct answer and 0 for the wrong answer. What this method we call, whether ये क्या है, giving the 1 mark for correct answer, giving the 0 for wrong one. So what is this? Whether it is measurement or assignment, assessment. Hello? Measurement, we already seen the concept. So measurement में क्या किया हमने, attributes, habits, everything को एक number दिया. Even here I will also give an example. Male को 1 number दिया, female को 2 number दिया. So like that, the attributes को, character को हमने numbering, numeric दिया. So same thing, what this teacher has done, Preeti assign 1 mark for correct. If student mark the correct answer, then she will give the 1 mark, then 0 for wrong one. So what is this? She is assessing or measuring? That is the question. Hello? All of you are able to understand what I am telling? Hello? Hello? Please reply me. टीचर ने 1 मार्क फॉर करेक्ट आंसर को 1 मार्क दिया, रॉन्ग आंसर को 0 मार्क दिया. व्हाट इज दिस मेथड? वेदर ही इज असेसिंग और मेजरिंग? Tell any answer, no problem. It is right or wrong. Everyone are in the same platform. Even I am also in the same platform. Don't worry. Please answer, reply. Then only the
Measuring.
what?
Measuring.
Measuring. So it is measuring. So it is measurement. He is measuring that particular answer. 1. He is giving number. 1 mark. 0 for wrong answer. The first thing he is doing measurement. Then Preeti calculated total score of each learner. Total score. Score is once again measurement. Total score of each learner. 10 marks, 15 marks, 20 marks. That is also measurement. So weight, height. So like that score, that particular attribute, that particular object, that particular thing ko we are measuring. We are giving the numericals. That is the measurement. All of you understood?
Yes, sir.
Then Preeti
Yes, sir.
categorized learners' performance as below average, average, and above average. What is this thing?
Assessment.
Based on this numericals up to 10, below average. So up to 15, average student. Above 15, they are above the average. So like that, they made the certain categories based on this measurement. So that is the assessment. He assessed these number of peoples are below average, these are above average, these are average students. So this is based on that measurements. So see, this assessment is a systematic process for the collecting information, and here, so process of gathering data and fashioning them into the interpretable form. If randomly 20 students का marks 10 है, 12 है, 14 है, 15 है, 19 है, 18 है, 6.13 है, ऐसे बोलने से she has arranged that data and they interpreted these people are below average, these people are average, these people are more than average, above the average. So like that, the interpretation is done. So that is the assessment. She made the assessment. That is, Preeti categorized the learner's performance as below average, average, and above average. Then Preeti is identified the topics areas where learners have not performed well. Based on the marks obtained in that particular concept of subject, he made these topics are not cleared for the student. These, for example, mathematics session or physics session, particular chapter में आया वाला क्वेश्चन को हर एक बच्चा आंसर गलत दिया है. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? That concept or topic is और एग्जाम्पल, इन सिंपल एग्जाम्पल, अगर फर्स्ट ईयर का एग्जाम है, फर्स्ट ईयर बीएमएस का एग्जाम है, अगर ज्यादातर बच्चे, मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स, ज्यादा सब सब्जेक्ट में पास हुआ है, ये पदार्थ विज्ञान में फेल हुआ है, देन you can assess that the padartha vijnana something is there, something problem is there, whether topic is difficult or the teacher is problem. What is the problem? That based on that, the teacher or institution will make some arrangements, or they make some activities, provide additional activities or remedial class, whatever thing. Based on that thing only, we will assess. That is the assessment. Preeti measured, or Preeti identified the topics areas where learners have not performed well. This is also assessment. So first step is, so in simply अगर हमने जनरल बोलना है तो एवेल्युएशन करने में फर्स्ट स्टेप होता है मेजरमेंट्स. इस मेजरमेंट्स के बाद होता है असेसमेंट, देन असेसमेंट का बाद होता है एवेल्युएशन. सो एवेल्युएशन को डायरेक्टली हम कर नहीं सकते. सो फर्स्ट स्टेप इज मेजरमेंट, मेजरमेंट के बाद वी विल असेसमेंट, असेसमेंट को बाद ही हम एवेल्युएशन कर सकते हैं. एवेल्युएशन बोलने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए, वी विल सी इन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. अप टू दिस ऑल ऑफ यू अंडरस्टूड. एवेल्युएशन का स्टेप में फर्स्ट स्टेप इज मेजरमेंट, आफ्टर दैट असेसमेंट, आफ्टर द असेसमेंट we will go for the evaluation. You can't directly do the evaluation without measurement. All of you understood the concept of the evaluation?
Yes, sir.
So if you see this picture, what is the evaluation? Evaluation is a big circle. So measurement is the smaller one. Don't see this now. Test measurement. Then after that assessment. Assessment covers the measurement. Then measurement assessment will be covered by the evaluation. समझ में आ गया क्या है concept? These are interdependent. Measurement to evaluation. Measurements, based on measurement, assessment contains measurements. So evaluation contains both measurement and assessment. That is the evaluation. So test is also there in the measurements. In next concept, you will see the test is also part of measurement. So now you don't see this one, only you see the measurement, assessment, evaluation. So what is evaluation? आपको मेजरमेंट असेसमेंट थोड़ा समझ में आ गए, तो थोड़ा आइडिया आ गए, तो एवेल्यूशन आप इजीली समझ सकते हैं. अगर आपको कुछ डाउट है तो भी आपको धीरे धीरे आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा. डोंट वरी. एवेल्यूशन, व्हाट इज द एवेल्यूशन? एवेल्यूशन इज ए क्वालिटेटिव. एवेल्यूशन इज व्हेन यू स्टार्ट टू इंटरप्रेट or judge the result of data you have collected throughout the assessment process or elsewhere. It is the phase for decision making or giving the judgment or giving the value. That thing is called as evaluation. For example, हमने फर्स्ट ईयर बीएमएस में एक बच्चे ने 70% मार्क्स लिया था. 70%. सेकेंड ईयर बीएमएस में 60% लिए. देन अनदर बच्चे ने 50% लिया था, फर्स्ट BAMS में, देन सेकेंड ईयर BAMS में उनको 70% मार्क आ गए. First student, this is second student. So in first student, his first BMS or first term exam, whatever, first year exam, whatever you think, first he has 70 marks, 70% marks. Later on, he get the 60 marks. Whether what judgment you will done based on this assessment? 70% and 60% दोनों marks आप collect किया. Now you will interpret this data. So what is this? 70% फर्स्ट ईयर BMS में किया, 60% सेकेंड ईयर BMS में आ गया. So can you interpret this data? What decision you can take here? Or what judgment you will give? आपको क्या लगता है? बच्चे एक 70% लिया फर्स्ट ईयर में, सेकेंड ईयर जाते ही 60% लिया. व्हाट, क्या बोलते हैं आप बच्चों को? तब आपका परफॉर्मेंस डिक्रीज हुआ है. फर्स्ट ईयर में 70% लिए, आप 60% में आ गए. सो योर परफॉर्मेंस इज डिक्रीज. दैट इज द जजमेंट. यू कैन जज वेदर हिज परफॉर्मेंस इज गुड और बैड. जजमेंट दिया आपने, वैल्यू कर दिया उनको. 50% ऑफ अनदर स्टूडेंट को फर्स्ट BMS में, सेकेंड BMS में 70% किया, तो हिज परफॉर्मेंस इज इंक्रीज. टू गिविंग दिस टाइप ऑफ जजमेंट्स, डिसीजन, that is called the evaluation. But evaluation is depend on the that assessment or and measurement. Without that thing we can't evaluate. We can't give the value, we can't give the judgment. That is the evaluation. So all of you understood this concept. What is the evaluation? Evaluation is a qualitative. So judgment देने के लिए हम that thing we call as a qualitative. Qualitative मतलब क्या है? फेल और पास, इम्प्रूव्ड और नॉट इम्प्रूव्ड. लाइक दैट क्वालिटेटिव में ही हम बोल सकते हैं एवेल्युएशन. दैट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट क्वालिटेटिव. समझ में आ गए? सो it contains both the quantitative data and qualitative, but ultimately we are expressing evaluation result as a qualitative, whether it is fail or pass, he is a first, second rank, third rank. So qualitative nature we are describing, that is evaluation is a qualitative. समझ में आ गया आपको? Hello? If you know the qualitative quantitative data concept a little bit, you will understand more easily. So evaluation is qualitative nature. So evaluation is a systematic process of collecting, analyzing data in order to determine whether what degree objects have been or being achieved. कौन सा लेवल में, कौन सा डिग्री में that objects are achieved. So that is the evaluate. When we evaluate, what are doing is engaging some process that is designed to provide information that will help us make the judgment about the given situation. Evaluation is process of determining the value of thing, or process based on the assessment of its different aspects, components by employing observation, measurements and test. So observation, measurements and test के हिसाब से हमने उसको एक वैल्यू दिया. So that is called evaluation. Evaluation includes the process of assessments and tools, methods of measurements. So without these tools and assessment, method of measurements, we can't do the evaluation. So evaluation will include these assessment tools and measurements. Stating briefly, evaluation thing or process involves the assessment of its different aspect or features. Based on that, determining it by its value. You will later on you will clear with this point. Then conclusion, अगर हमने इतना study लिया है, measurement, assessment and evaluation, what we conclude? So therefore evaluation is more broader and comprehensive than the assessment. Assessment से evaluation क्या होता है? More broader and comprehensive. How it will comprehensive and broader, we will see in the next examples and slides. Just you remember, evaluation is more broader than the this assessment. Evaluation includes the assessment. Measurement is a tool or method employed in the assessment and evaluation. To sum up, we measure distance, we assess learning, and we evaluate results in terms of some set of criteria. These three terms are certainly share some common attributes, but it is useful to think them as a separate but connected ideas and process. They are connected but they are separate. They are not same. That thing I want to highlight you. Measurement, assessment, evaluation are interlinked. They share some common attributes, but they are not same. That is the concept. So another thing, in assessment, you try to find out the level of achievement or performance of a learner. Assessment में क्या करते हैं आप, level of achievement और performance को आप find out करते हैं assessment में. But in evaluation, your focus is how good is the performance or the level of performance. So we will evaluate. In evaluation में क्या होता है, how good. That is the evaluation. Evaluation में हम assessment में achievement और performance को हमने find out करता है. So how good is the performance of level of that performance is called as a evaluation. For example, some student are performing or performance, if you tell that he is performing better, his performing his performation is not better or not good. So this is the level of performance. So हमने उनका level of performance बताया. So that is the evaluation. और our focus क्या रहता है, level, what level the performance is there, what level his achievement is there. That is the evaluation. But in assessment में क्या होता है, we will find out the level, कितना मार्क्स लिया है, क्या है वो, we are arranged. But whether it is level or judgment लेते ना, based on that assessment, that is the evaluation. The evaluation is the next step. That's why assessment is called as a beside the evaluation. Evaluation होने के लिए assessment चाहिए. That is the one of the slide we learned that assess. See this sentence. It is a derivation. The word assess means to sit beside or assist to judge. Judge किधर करते हैं हम, evaluation में करते हैं. So assist the judge. So judgment करने के लिए this assessment will be assist. That's why this is assessment. This is judgment लेने के लिए assessment important है. That is the meaning of to sit beside. So the assessment and evaluation are very interrelated. Only thing is the judgment or value is added to this assessment, then only it is called as a evaluation. So you will see in the later slides, it will be more easy for understanding. Don't worry. You can say that evaluation is a process of value judgment. It is also used refer to the product or outcome of the process. You can say that measurement and assessment are the means of evaluation. Measurement and assessment are the means of evaluation, and the evaluation is the end. After the evaluation, it is the end one. The process will end with the evaluation. But to make the evaluation, this measurement, assessment are the means for the evaluation. In this process of evaluation, measurement is the first step, assessment comes next, and when value judgment is added to this thing, it becomes the evaluation. That is the concept. So relationship among the measurement, assessment and evaluation. So while going through the discussion about measurement, assessment and evaluation in previous section, you must have realized that all these three are associated with each other. Association है, लेकिन evaluation may be considered as the umbrella term which includes measurement and assessment. अगर हमने बात किया evaluation कर रहे, so this is the umbrella term. Umbrella term means under this, if you evaluation बताए तो you have to consider assessment and measurements are there under this evaluation. That is the concept. So measurement, assessment, this is the evaluation. This is umbrella term. We also learn in the communication program, the National Rural Health Mission. And this is the umbrella of the other all programs. So NHM, National Rural Health Mission के अंदर ही सारे प्रोग्राम, बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम्स आते हैं. That's why that is the umbrella of the program भी बोलते हैं. So that like umbrella means it covers these things. Evaluation अगर umbrella हो गए तो इसके अंदर assessment and measurement will be covered. That is the thing. Evaluation may be considered as an umbrella term which includes measurement and assessment. या अगर आपको ये concept समझ में आ गया तो ये picture भी आपको हेल्प करता है आज टू अंडरस्टैंड होने के लिए व्हाट इज द मेजरमेंट एंड evaluation. So this relation can be further explained as measurement focuses mainly on quantifying. Quantifying means number giving, quantifying the variable. Quantify करने के लिए focus करता है measurement, that is giving the number or measuring, that is the quantifying, what we call quantitative, that is assessment bring the that qualitative description, and when the value judgment is added to this of this it becomes the evaluation. For example, एक example दिया है to understand the concept, the same thing I am repeating but in the different manner to clear होने के लिए, nothing but ये थोड़ा विदाउट इन डिटेल स्टडी हमको क्लियर नहीं था, एक बार कॉन्सेप्ट समझ में आ गए तो द नेक्स्ट थिंग वी विल अंडरस्टैंड दी वेरी इजी, that's why I am taking same concept in the different slides, different contents, different example. So Ramesh has scored the 65 marks in the mathematics in the final year exam, which is above average performance, but he has not performed well on test items related to trigonometry. Ramesh has improved significantly with compared to his half yearly examination. देखो इस पे क्या हो गया, 65 मार्क्स मैथमेटिक्स में लिया है फाइनल ईयर एग्जामिनेशन. व्हाट इज दिस, वेदर इट इज मेजरमेंट, असेसमेंट और evaluation? All of you, hello?
Yes, sir.
65 मार्क्स लिया है, 90 मार्क्स लिए है, 70 मार्क्स लिए है. दिस इज सिंपली measurement. Ramesh has scored 65 marks. Or anyone, any student, for example, Ramesh has scored, for example, any name, Geeta, for example, Geeta scored 90 marks, Ajay scored 60 marks, Vimal scored 40 marks. So these are measurements. Simply these are measurements. The numbers, numerical, quantifying the things, that is the measurement. In this 65 marks measurement indicator, 65 marks kya hai? This is the measurement indicator. Like above average performance, identification area of improvement comes under the assessment. So above the average, his performance is above the average, and improvement area comes under the assessment. So here, whether he is improved or not improved, that identification area comes under the assessment. But when judgment of his performance in relation to half yearly examination is evaluation. So इधर क्या हो, Ramesh has improved significantly to comparing with his half yearly examination. Here you take the judgment comparing with his half yearly examination. Previously एग्जाम से इनका मार्क्स ज्यादा हो गया है. सो गिविंग टू गिव दिस जजमेंट, दिस इज कॉल्ड एवेल्युएशन. अगर आपने जजमेंट नहीं दिया, सिर्फ उनका एवरेज परफॉर्मेंस इज अबव परफॉर्मेंस एंड हिज इम्प्रूवमेंट, फॉर एग्जांपल दूसरा में परफॉर्मेंस अलग है, अच्छा है, लेकिन बट ही इज नॉट परफॉर्मेंट वेल ऑन द आइटम्स रिलेटेड टू ट्रिग्नोमेट्री. These average and not performed in the trigonometry, these all comes under the assessment. But the improvement judgment, he is improved significantly compared to his examination. This judgment based on this assessment, if you add the judgment to this assessments, or you are give the value, then it is called evaluation. The judgment of his performance in relation to half yearly examination is evaluation. Giving the numbers is measurement. So collecting the data, and we will take the inference, meaningful inference, that is above, below level, and to measure the what are the things they are not performed in that area. So everything is assessment. But if you add the judgment to this assessment, that becomes the evaluation. The evaluation is the end. So that is the concept of evaluation. So relationship between measurement, assessment, and evaluation. So in this picture also see measurement, quantitative description, what is the evaluation, then assessment, qualitative description. Assessment plus value judgment. If you add the value judgment, it is the evaluation. Measurement plus, that is plus value judgment, that is the evaluation. And measurement plus assessment, if you add the value judgment, that is the evaluation. समझ में आ गया ये चार्ट आपको? What is the evaluation? Measurement plus value judgment is evaluation. Assessment plus value judgment is evaluation. Or measurement and assessment plus value judgment is evaluation. So whether it is measurement, assessment, the value judgment should be there. Without value judgment, we can't call it as a evaluation. That is the concept. So these things you can easily understood. Evaluation is equal to measurement and value judgment. Evaluation is equal to assessment, value judgment, or evaluation is equal to measurement, assessment, and value judgment. So measurement is also there. Value judgment is important. From the above three concepts of evaluation, now it is clear that without value judgment, there is a no evaluation. अभी समझ में आ गया आपको सब लोगों को? Hello, what is evaluation? When we call it as a evaluation? All of you? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
At least some percentage, थोड़ा आइडिया, करेक्ट आइडिया तो आ गया ना आपको? एवेल्यूशन क्या है, मेजरमेंट क्या है, असेसमेंट क्या है. व्हेन वी कॉल इट एज ए एवेल्यूएशन. एवेल्यूएशन अगर मेजरमेंट लिया, उसको वैल्यू जजमेंट किया तो भी एवेल्यूएशन बोल सकते हैं. असेसमेंट को वैल्यू जजमेंट किया तो भी. हमने इनिशियली क्या किया? मेजरमेंट आता है, मेजरमेंट के बाद असेसमेंट आता है, असेसमेंट के बाद ही वैल्यू ऐड करता है, एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड एवेल्यूएशन. इन इनिशियल स्टेज में मैंने आपको समझने के लिए इन द क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर में बताया. बट समटाइम्स directly from measurement also the value judgment is added, that is called evaluation. certain situation or certain condition में क्या होता है, measurement plus value judgment भी add किया तो that one we called as a evaluation. Here thing important is value judgment. So evaluation के लिए measurement first step है, assessment is next step है. So assessment होने के लिए measurement is फर्स्ट स्टेप. असेसमेंट के साथ वैल्यू जज किया तो भी हमने एवेल्यूएशन कह सकते हैं उसको. लाइक दैट एवेल्यूएशन इज आल्सो कंटेन्स मेजरमेंट, असेसमेंट, वैल्यू जजमेंट. फर्स्ट थिंग आई हैव told you that measurement is there first step. Yes, then after that it is will be assessment plus value judgment, then only it is called as evaluation. So after you understood the concept, now I am telling that measurement plus value judgment is also evaluation, assessment plus value judgment is also evaluation, measurement plus assessment plus value judgment is also called evaluation. So evaluation includes the value judgment. If you add the value judgment to measurements or assessment, then it is called as a value judgment. Or both the measurement and assessment plus you add the value judgment, that is called as a evaluation. So this is the role of evaluation in the teaching learning process. Objectives, learner experts. So everything को ये evaluation evaluate करता है. Objectives, learner experience and learner appraisal को evaluate करता है. This picture showing the meaning of that. Then evaluation chain. So क्या करते हैं हमने? Measurement करता है, assessment करता है, then evaluation करता है, evaluation के बाद decision making करता है. That is the evaluation chain. Measurement, assessment, evaluation, a certain decision we will take, then evaluation. Evaluation is a continuous process. That is the concept. Relation between assessment and evaluation. While assessment and evaluation are highly interchangeable, interrelated, are often used interchangeably, such terms they are not synonyms. Interchangeably you can use कर सकते हैं. Assessment कभी कभी क्या है, टेक्स्ट बुक में क्या है, assessment methods ही लिखा है. Assessment methods, evaluation method, both are given in the same manner. अगर हमारा सिलेबस लिखे तो भी assessment methods बोल के लिखा है मैनुअल में भी. So sometimes the words are highly interrelated and interchangeable, because evaluation is nothing but if you add the judgment to the assessment, that is the evaluation. That's why sometimes it is interrelated, but they are not synonyms. You have to remember that are not synonymous. The process of assessment is gather, the summarize, interpret, use data to decide the direction of action. But the process of evaluation is to gather, summarize, interpret, and use data to determine the extent to which action was successful, extent को evaluation बताता है. Relation between assessment and evaluation. Assessment to increase the quality. Assessment हम क्यों करता है? To increase the quality. Evaluation is the judge the quality. For example, इधर दिया है तो assessment क्यों करते हैं हम day by day? He is giving the water to this, whether this tree is growing or not. That is the assessment. After the assessment, if you add the judgment, it is too short and not enough leaves. If you give the judgment, that is the evaluation. To judge the quality. Here, to increase the quality, assessment is poor, so that gives the to improve the assessment. That is the it increases the quality. It helps purpose of assessment and purpose of evaluation. That is, if you are assessing the students, that means it has a scope of increasing the teaching learning methods. If you judge that method finally, then it is your course learnings are good or bad. That is the last summative form. So some differences, different text I have taken to just clear the concept. Assessment में क्या है? It is an ongoing process. It is the provides the closure of observation. Observation को close करने के time evaluation, final judgment देके उसको close करता है. Improves the quality of learner. It judges the quality of learner. Improves the, it will help for the quality, improving the quality of the learner. अगर उसका assessment ठीक नहीं है, then he has the to improve. But here judgment, we do the judgment, the learner is good or bad, or we already passed the judgment. Then individualized approach. Assessment में individually approach ज़्यादा होता है. It is against the applied against the standards. If you don't understand this sentence, don't worry. Different context they have given different differences, but I want to cover all the differences from different sources. It does not mean grade. Assessment का मतलब not grade है, it is a grade. Provides feedback. Assessment में feedback मिलता है. It shows the shortfalls. Even though if you don't understand these words, don't worry. Other points are there. It is completely process oriented. You have to remember this thing. Assessment, it is completely process oriented. It is product oriented. Process and product. In doing process, assessment will be done. After the finishing that process, it is evaluation will be done. That is the product oriented, process and product. It is the means, it is the end. Measurement and assessment are the means for the evaluation. We have seen in the one of the sentence. Measurement and assessment are the means for the evaluation, but evaluation is the end because it is evaluated or judgment is given. So another slide I have taken. Assessment is a process of evaluation as described, collecting, evaluating and using data for the purpose of improvement. Evaluation describes as an act of passing judgment basis of the evidence. Assessment pays attention to teaching and learning. Evaluation focuses on final outcome, whether final outcome आया नहीं आया, that is the evaluation. Assessment is done at the beginning of the inquiry. Evaluation is usually done at the end. End means after the completion of course. That is the evaluation. It is diagnostic. Diagnostic means where the lacunas are there, where the problem are there. Based on the assessment, we can diagnose the problems. But it is judgmental. Evaluation means we are giving the judgment. इसमें एक diagnose कुछ नहीं होता है. Whether it is good or not, whether it is pass or fail, the judgment is given. It is a formative. It is a summative. You will understand formative, summative in the next concept. Don't worry. Then assessment, it is a process oriented. Then again product oriented. Provides feedback for improvement. It is the which objectives achieved or not, whether the all objectives achieved or not, that gives the evaluation. Based on the observation, positive negative points, positive and negative दोनों points का observe. Based on that observation, we will do the assessment, but based on the level of quality as set per standard, whether they are passed, fail, that is the evaluation set by both parties, assessor and assessee. Here evaluator is only tells the result. It is absolute, it is comparative. So another slide. Assessment is a gathering of information about something such as student performance. Evaluation is the act of setting value on the assessed information. Value on the assessed information. Assessment is informative. It is a judgment. It is a qualitative. It is quantitative as well as a qualitative. Assessment pinpoints specific strength and weakness. Evaluation is ranks and start the individual within the groups. Assessment is a diagnostic and formative. It is only summative. Assessment focuses on the individual student. Evaluation focuses on the group. So up to this, some idea you have assessment evaluation का बारे में डिफरेंस भी क्या है, उसका बारे में एक्चुअली असेसमेंट क्या है, एवेल्यूएशन क्या है, आपको पता हो गया. आई थिंक यू हैव सम आइडिया अबाउट असेसमेंट एंड एवेल्यूएशन. सम आइडिया आ गया आपको क्लियर असेसमेंट एवेल्यूएशन के बारे में? हेलो?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The words are interchangeably. Lot of people और lot of textbook materials में भी ये interchangeably होता है, लेकिन उसका बीच में थोड़ा difference है. So evaluation means final. You are adding the judgment or value to that assessment. Then it completes the process of evaluation. समझ में आ गया? That is the concept of evaluation. Then steps involved in the evaluation. So what are the steps involved in the evaluation? Following are the few steps involved in the process of evaluation. First क्या करते हैं हमने? Whether objectives are fulfilled or not, that is we will evaluate by the evaluation process. So first क्या करते हैं हमने? General objective रखते हैं, identifying, defining the general objectives. Then that general objectives को defining specific objective of that particular course, then selecting teaching points, then suitable learning activities, then evaluating using the result as a feedback. For example, simply for your understanding, I am giving one example. So general objective means अगर BAMS कोर्स का एक जनरल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स रखा है, as you see the curriculum देखा तो आपको पता चलता है, already we learned that curriculum, whatever the objectives. So that are general objectives of that particular BAMS subject. So later on the specific objective means specific for particular subject, swastharota, anatomy, that we will see the specific objectives. And then in each teaching lessons or teaching concept, the certain points will be there. This method will be applied, this method will be there for understanding cognitive level. So like that, selecting teaching points, then planning suitable learning activities. So what are the suitable for that general objectives, specific objectives and teaching points? Then we will planning for the that learning activities. Then we will evaluate. It is then the results used as a feedback. Evaluation क्यों कर रहे हैं हम? Teaching here in the concept of in the mindset of education purpose, these steps are involved in evaluation. Evaluation में generally ये होता है ना, objectives, general objectives, specific objective, teaching points, learning activities क्या क्या किया है, इस सारे के ऊपर evaluation होता है. The result, whatever result is come, that is used as a feedback. That is the feedback. What is the evaluation? Whether this institution is doing good or not. That is the feedback. Agar this teacher is doing good or not. That is the ultimate. That results we will use as a feedback. That is the concept. Just you have to remember steps involved. General objective रहते हैं, define करता है. Next specific objective तरफ आते हैं, general to specific. Specific में teaching points क्या है, and we will plan according to that teaching points. So for suitable learning activities, teaching points के according, then evaluate करता है whole teaching learning method को, and we will give the result. Then result को हमने as a feedback जैसे use करता है. This is the steps involved in the evaluation. So evaluation has the following function. Evaluation का function क्या क्या functions है? Placement function, instructional functions, diagnostic functions. So placement function का मतलब क्या होता है? Evaluation based on the evaluation, the placement हो सकता है. बहुत इंजीनियरिंग में होता है ना, placement selection ऐसे बोलते हैं ना. So evaluation can do the following functions. That is the concept of this placement function. And instructional function. Instructional function means teaching functions के लिए भी useful है. And diagnostic functions. If you are evaluating, you can diagnose certain problems with the teaching learning methods. It can also serve for the diagnostic. It can act as a, the meaning is simply that evaluation का useful क्या है? What are the functions we can do by this evaluation? That is the concept. Then predictive functions. Predictive functions मतलब क्या है? अगर आपने एक बच्चे का एवेल्यूएशन किया 12th स्टैंडर्ड में, टीसीबी फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री बायोलॉजी का उनका स्कोर अच्छा आया, सो यू कैन प्रेडिक्ट दी, हाँ, he may able or he can get the medical seat, he may get score in the NEET में अच्छा करता है, सो एक प्रेडिक्शन कर सकते हैं हम एवेल्यूएशन के ऊपर. दैट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ प्रेडिक्टिव फंक्शंस. एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव फंक्शंस मींस दैट इज व्हाट आई टोल्ड अर्लियर, दैट इज द अगर 90% उनका पासिंग परसेंटेज आ गया, so 95% आ गया, based on that thing you can do the administration functions are going good in this college. That is the concept, administration functions. Guidance function, it will guide. For example, if any student have get mark in the particular subject, PCM में उनका score अच्छा रहते, PCB में उनको अच्छा नहीं रहते, so based on his evaluation we can guide. आपका मार्क्स देखे तो आपका ये देखे तो आपको इसमें ज्यादा अच्छा है, so you can choose that particular field for your career. So based on evaluation you can guide. So evaluation guidance function भी करता है. That is the meaning. Motivation function. So अगर हमने फर्स्ट रैंक आ गया, सेकंड रैंक आ गया, evaluation के बाद मैंने फर्स्ट रैंक, it will motivate the learners. That is the motivated functions. होता है ना, खुश होता है ना बच्चे, डिस्टिंक्शन आ गया, फर्स्ट रैंक आ गया, सेकंड रैंक आ गया. That is the evaluation also motivates that. That is the concept, motivate functions. फेल हुआ बच्चे को डीमोटिवेट भी होता है, वो अलग बात है, लेकिन we are talking about the positive one, motivate functions. This is the evaluation of evaluation function. Development functions, तो development के लिए भी यूज होता है. रिसर्च functions, अगर evaluation के बाद अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम हमको समझ में आ गया, why that problems are happening, how to solve that, so everything we can research and we come to action plan. So that is the research function. Then communication functions. Communication मतलब वन बाय वन कम्युनिकेट होता है. अगर हमारा एवेल्यूशन के बाद हमारा रिजल्ट आ गया, सो दैट विल आल्सो कम्युनिकेट ईच अदर्स. मेरा परसेंटेज इतना आ गया, मेरा पॉइंट परसेंटेज इतना आ गया, सो कम्युनिकेशन फंक्शन. सो द ईच अदर में communicate with his evaluation result, and it will help for the communication also. That is the concept in detail. कम्युनिकेशन का इतना एवेल्यूशन का फंक्शन का कम्युनिकेशन इतना आपको समझना है, इट विल हेल्प फॉर द ईच वन को कम्युनिकेट करने के लिए हेल्प होता है. दैट इज द, अगर मेरा भी 80% आ गया, मेरा और एक स्टूडेंट और कोई लर्नर को 80% आ गया, इट विल हेल्प फॉर द कम्युनिकेशन. हाँ, मेरा भी 80 हो गया, उनका भी 80 हो गया. सो लाइक दैट द कम्युनिकेशन विल हैपन्स in between the learners after the evaluation. That is the communication functions. Then objectives of evaluation. So evaluation का objectives क्या है? Same things are repeating but different heading. So concept आपको already पता है. Diagnose the weakness of the learning difficulties of learner. Objectives क्या रखा है हमने? evaluation का main objectives क्या है? To diagnose the weakness of learning difficulties of the learners, to test the achievement of students, to help the prognosis, that is probable outcome, to familiarize teacher with the nature of pupil learning development progress. एवोल्यूशन का ऑब्जेक्टिव यही है. एवोल्यूशन करने के बाद ये सारे चीज में हम कुछ ना कुछ देखता है. दैट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ एवोल्यूशन. एवोल्यूशन हमने क्यों करता है? सर्टेन ऑब्जेक्टिव्स विल बी केप्ट. एवोल्यूशन इसलिए करता है, दिस सारे थिंग पता चलते हैं आपको. दैट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ एवोल्यूशन. टू मेजर द एफिशिएंसी ऑफ टीचर्स आफ्टर द एवोल्यूशन ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर कोर्स. सो कौन सा सब्जेक्ट में कितना लोग कितना रैंक लिया है, कितना मार्क्स लिया है, कितना टॉपर्स आए, बेस्ड ऑन दैट यू कैन मेजर द एफिशिएंसी ऑफ टीचर्स. अगर मैथ्स में बहुत सारे बच्चे रैंक आ गए, सो it will measure the efficacy of teachers of that subject. So like that, to measure the fitness of students for promotion and admission to higher courses. अगर फर्स्ट फिटनेस का मतलब क्या है? अगर 8th का बच्चा पास हुआ देन ओनली वी कैन move him to the 9th class. और फर्स्ट BMS में पास हुआ, whether he is going to fit for second BMS or not. So that is the one of the objective of evaluation. Why we will conduct exam, we will give the result. That is the one of the objectives of evaluation, to measure fitness of the students for promotion and administration to higher courses, to help in the selection में help करता है. whether it is for higher education or job, the evaluation will help to selection. Acquaint the parents with progress with their wards. तो उनका प्रोग्रेस क्या है लर्नर्स का पेरेंट्स के साथ, एंड देयर इनके साथ हमने कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं. दैट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ द एवेल्युएशन. टाइप्स ऑफ एवेल्युएशन. So evaluation is a broad thing. Sometimes not it is only for a writing exam, viva or everything. Evaluation will be done based on different things. That's why it is broader sense. Evaluation is very big. That is the concept. Then types of evaluation. According to nature, basic nature के हिसाब से, what are the types? It can be classified into quantitative and qualitative techniques of evaluation. Quantitative techniques मतलब क्या है? You can take the written examination, oral examination, practical examination. These are the quantitative based on the nature. Quantitative matlab, once again I am telling, quantitative means measuring or giving the numbers. That are the, if quantitative techniques आपको चाहिए, so then written exam, oral, practical exam करना है आपको. And qualitative techniques क्या है? Observation, based on observation and interviews, checklist, rating scale, cumulative records. What is observation and interviews? We will observe that student, और हमको रहता है ना एवेल्यूशन, ओवरऑल एवेल्यूशन में अगर लास्ट में बच्चों को एक ग्रेडिंग और एक ये देना है तो उनका बिहेवियर कैसा था होल ईयर, वेदर ही इज सिंसियर, वेदर ही इज अटेंडेड ऑल द क्लास. सो बेस्ड ऑन उनका नेचर, उनका टीचर के साथ कैसे बिहेव करते हैं, अदर स्टूडेंट के साथ. सो वी विल ऑब्जर्व एंड गिव सम, we will evaluate certain things. That are qualitative techniques. In interview also, there is no particular things based on his observation only in interview, how he is approaching, how he is interacting. So that thing, whether he is eligible or not eligible for that post. So that is qualitative nature. Interview pass or fail, इतना ही बोलते हैं. That is the qualitative. It is not number, pass or fail इंटरव्यू में. सो चेकलिस्ट का मतलब क्या है? certain things will be enlisted, whether he processing this particular number 1 item, number 2 item, good character, yes, whether sincerely attending the classes, yes, whether he is disturbing the classes, yes, no. So certain checklist, if you going to mark yes or no, so this type of techniques called qualitative. Here number or measurement is not there. So qualitative, quantitative आपको पता है रिसर्च में, तो you will easily understood this qualitative and quantitative techniques. Then rating scale. रेटिंग स्केल किधर आते हैं? हमने पेन में देखते हैं ना, विजुअल एनालॉग स्केल. पेन को कैसे मेजर कर सकते हैं? हमको डायरेक्टली तो मेजर नहीं कर सकते, कितना किलो पेन है, कितना सेंटीमीटर पेन है, ऐसे तो नहीं कर सकते. विजुअल एनालॉग स्केल यूज करते हैं. लाइक दैट हियर आल्सो रेटिंग स्केल फ्रॉम 10 to 0 we will rate the what performance of the student. If you qualitative techniques are using in the evaluation, then you can use the rating scale. Then cumulative records. Cumulative means his one by one previous records, previous things, previous everything we are adding the things, and we are evaluating him. That is the cumulative. Cumulative means adding. That is the meaning of qualitative technique. Qualitative, quantitative. Quantitative technique means number or measurement. Exam, oral exam दिया तो भी हमने मार्क्स देता है, प्रैक्टिकल एग्जाम में भी मार्क्स देते हैं, रिटन एग्जाम में भी मार्क्स देते हैं. तो क्वालिटेटिव टेक्निक में क्या आते हैं? ऑब्जर्वेशन, इंटरव्यूज, चेकलिस्ट, रेटिंग स्केल, क्यूमुलेटिव रिकॉर्ड्स कम्स अंडर द क्वालिटेटिव टेक्निक्स. सो अगर इस एवेल्युएशन को फेज ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन के ऊपर हमने क्लासिफिकेशन करना है, तो देर आर 4 टाइप्स ऑफ एवेल्युएशन बेसिस ऑफ फेज ऑफ एवेल्युएशंस और प्लेसमेंट, फॉर्मेटिव, डायग्नोस्टिक एंड समेटिव. क्या है फेज ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन? मतलब इंस्ट्रक्शन और टीचिंग, वी आर यूजिंग द कौन सा फेज में आप एवेल्युएट कर रहे हैं दैट लर्नर को, दैट स्टूडेंट को. इन बेस्ड ऑन दैट we have the 4 types of evaluation. This is the types or classification of evaluation we are learning now based on phase of instruction. phase of instruction का मतलब होता है इंस्ट्रक्शन और टीचिंग. कौन सा फेज में आप evaluate कर रहे हैं दैट लर्नर को. Based on that, it has 4 types. First one is placement evaluation. What is placement evaluation? The keyword which is used for placement assessment is the entry behavior. You have to remember this word, entry behavior. It ascertain the knowledge and skill the students possess which are necessary at the beginning of the instruction. Instruction or टीचिंग और कोर्स का पहले हमने उनका evaluate करते, that is the placement evaluation. Ascertain the knowledge and skills the student possesses which are necessary at the beginning of instruction in a given subject area. Evaluation of entry behavior is done just before teaching starts. A teacher should know the previous knowledge of students. These helps teacher to organize teaching learning activities according to previous knowledge of learner. अगर आपने कुछ स्टूडेंट्स फर्स्ट ईयर बीएमएस को एडमिशन करने के बाद हम क्या करते हैं, यही एवेल्यूएशन करते हैं. हर एक टीचर आते हैं, आपका दोष के बारे में कुछ पता है, दांतों के बारे में पता है, कुछ पता है क्या, ऐसे पूछ के उनका एवेल्यूएशन करते हैं बिफोर रियली स्टार्टिंग क्लासेस or before teaching the starting the this teaching of subject related. We will assess and evaluate the students, that is the placement evaluation. Before starting the particular subject area, we will evaluate the student, how much knowledge, kitna knowledge है, कितना स्किल ऑलरेडी द स्टूडेंट है प्रोसेस. अगर उनको सब बच्चों को थोड़ा नॉलेज है, स्किल है आयुर्वेद के बारे में, देन लर्निंग एक्टिविटीज और प्लानिंग विल चेंजेस. अगर किसी को भी कुछ पता नहीं है, देन द लर्निंग एक्टिविटीज विल बी डिफरेंट. अगर हमने ये एनटीईटी क्लास कर रहे हैं, दिस इज न्यू फॉर ऑल. अगर आपको प्लेसमेंट एवल्यूशन, अगर इसका बारे में अगर आप कुछ नॉलेज था, इससे पहले हमारा करिकुलर में था, अगर आपको नॉलेज होता तो हमारा लर्निंग टीचिंग लर्निंग एक्टिविटी एंटायरली डिफरेंट होता था. लेकिन इसमें आपको कुछ भी पता नहीं है, सो इसलिए हमारा टीचिंग लर्निंग मेथड्स अलग हो रहे हैं. अगर आपको पहले ही इसका नॉलेज पता होता तो हमारा टीचिंग मेथड अलग तरीके से होता था. मतलब ऑलरेडी वी हैव नो समथिंग, देन बेस्ड ऑन दैट वी विल प्लान द फर्दर एक्टिविटीज. सो इट इज प्लेसमेंट मीन्स बिफोर proceeding the proper subject area, the teacher will start should know the previous knowledge of the student regarding that particular subject or course, that is the placement evaluation. Then formative evaluation क्या है? It is also known as internal evaluation. It is done during the program before its completion. It will be done during program. It is done during program, but before its completion, complete होने से पहले, during its program we will do the evaluation. That one we called as a formative evaluation. It focuses on the process. It is conducted more than once depending upon the length of activity. This evaluation gives student the feedback regarding his success, failure in achieving the instructional objectives. It also identifies any learning errors need to be corrected for a teacher. Formative evaluation provides information for making instruction and remedies more effective. Formative evaluation is quite helpful in the early stage of development of program. As it helps to improving the program. The examples of formative evaluation are unit ends, monthly test, quarterly test. क्या है formative evaluation? आपका कोर्स स्टार्ट हो गया, बीएमएस का फर्स्ट ईयर का कोर्स स्टार्ट हो गया, आपने सब्जेक्ट शुरू किया. आफ्टर दी 1 month यू विल एवेल्युएट द स्टूडेंट्स बाय यूनिट टेस्ट देके और मंथली टेस्ट देके और कुछ भी क्वेश्चन आंसर ओरली पूछ के. डिफरेंट मेथड्स एंड टूल्स यू कैन यूज फॉर दिस फॉर्मेटिव एवेल्युएशन. सो अगर आपने क्यों ये फॉर्मेटिव एवेल्युएशन कर रहे हैं, वेदर these students are really understanding or not, क्या समझ में आ रहे, क्या समझ में नहीं आ रहे. सो ये सारे हमको पता होने के लिए हमने फॉर्मेटिव एवेल्युएशन करते हैं. सो फॉर्मेटिव एवेल्युएशन इज द ड्यूरिंग द प्रोग्राम. इट इज नॉट कंप्लीशन. हमने कंप्लीट होने के बाद, फर्स्ट ईयर बीएमएस होने के बाद हमको फॉर्मेटिव एवेल्युएशन नहीं कर सकते. हम ड्यूरिंग द course only we are giving the formative evaluation. It is also used for teachers and learners. For teacher, formative evaluation provides information for making the instructions. मेरा स्टडी, मेरा टीचिंग मेथड्स करेक्ट है नहीं है, और रेमेडीज क्लास ले रहे हैं उससे इफेक्टिव है नहीं है. It is also helpful for the students are also where the student is failuring, whether he is not able to understanding the instructional objectives, whether we are succeed or not succeed to particular objectives. Course outcome बोल के है ना हमारा syllabus में that thing. So formative evaluation you simply remember as it is during program or during the course. It can be done in at particular chapter खत्म होने के बाद भी आप वो that particular chapter के लिए evaluation कर सकते हैं. That is also formative evaluation. और monthly कर सकते हैं. So quarterly भी कर सकते हैं. 3 months के लिए भी कर सकते हैं. It depends on teacher, but the formative evaluation means during the program. Then diagnostic evaluation. While formative evaluation determines the extent to which student accomplish the learning target, diagnostic evaluation goes step further and to provide the explanation of possible causes of problems in learning. आपने formative evaluation कर दिया, उस पे बहुत सारे बच्चों का रिजल्ट एक सब्जेक्ट में एक कॉन्सेप्ट में नहीं आया, then you will go for the diagnostic evaluation. Why the students are not able to understanding that particular concept or subject? That is nothing but diagnostic evaluation is done at any time in the program to pinpoint anything wrong in the program. It is also diagnostic evaluation is also done at any time in the program, but it is diagnostic evaluation not routinely we will do. Only in formative evaluation में कुछ हमको प्रॉब्लम लग रहे, टारगेट अचीव नहीं कर रहे हम, ये दिख रहे, अगर फिर 50 बच्चे में 10 बच्चे भी पास नहीं हो रहे at particular concept, then we will go for the diagnostic evaluation where the real problem is there. To diagnose that problem, we will go for the diagnostic evaluation. Then summative evaluation, it is the summative evaluation is external evaluation. At the same name indicates, it is done at the end of the complete of the course. End of the course में हमने evaluation करते हैं, that is summative evaluation. It determines the extent to which objects of instruction have been achieved and used for assessing course grade. Summative evaluation generally includes the oral reports, projects, term papers, test. It shows how good, how satisfactory student is accomplished the objectives of instruction. इसका मतलब क्या है? Summative evaluation मतलब after the first year BMS course में हमने final exam क्या लेता ना, वो that is the summative evaluation. That is also called as the external evaluation because the external persons are evaluating their answer papers. That's why it may be called as external evaluation. Summative evaluation कब करते हैं हम? At the end of the completion of the course. Formative and diagnostic evaluation कब करते हैं हम? During the course. Placement evaluation कब करते हैं हम? Before, इधर है, the assent and knowledge process evaluation just done before the teaching start. आपको ये 3 पॉइंट याद रखना है. The evaluation done before the actual course. Which evaluation करते हैं हम? Before course start होने से पहले कौन सा type of evaluation करते हैं? All of you? Hello? Hello? Whether you are understanding or not? Phase of instruction के based on phase of instruction, the evaluation can be 4 types. What is the phase of instruction? Phases होता है ना teaching का, instruction का. So उस पे whether the evaluation is taking place before the actual teaching starts, that is the placement evaluation. During the टीचिंग कोर्स स्टार्ट हो गए, सिलेबस शुरू किया आपने पढ़ाई करने के लिए, इन बिटवीन मंथली, वीकली और आफ्टर द कंप्लीटिंग वन चैप्टर, इफ यू आर टेकिंग टेस्ट और ओरली पूछ रहे और कुछ टास्क दे रहे, कुछ भी करके you are assuring that whether students are learning or not, whether my teaching methods are effective or not, वो असेस कर रहे हैं, उसको एवेल्यूएट कर रहे, जजमेंट ले रहे, असेस करने के बाद जजमेंट लेते आप. दैट इज द फॉर्मेटिव एवेल्यूएशन. ड्यूरिंग द प्रोग्राम आप एवेल्यूएशन करते हैं ना, दैट इज फॉर्मेटिव एवेल्यूएशन. अगर फॉर्मेटिव एवेल्यूएशन में आपको कुछ प्रॉब्लम लग रहा है, देन यू डू द डायग्नोस्टिक एवेल्यूएशन. डायग्नोस्टिक एवेल्यूएशन इज आल्सो डन एट एनी टाइम ऑफ द प्रोग्राम. इसको बाद में फाइनल एग्जाम होने के बाद आपको डायग्नोस्टिक एवेल्यूएशन नहीं कर सकते, वो तब करके क्या फायदा है? ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स ओनली द डायग्नोस्टिक एवेल्यूएशन बी डन. द समेटिव एवेल्यूएशन इज एट द एंड ऑफ द कोर्स, द फाइनल एग्जाम. कोर्स ठीक से हुआ नहीं हुआ, दैट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द समेटिव एवेल्यूएशन. समझ में आ गया आपको? मल्टीपल चॉइस में क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता है. So formative evaluation will be conducted before instruction, during instruction, after the end of the instruction, or ऐसे भी पूछ सकते हैं. Placement evaluation will be done at the beginning of the course, during the course, after the end of the course, nothing. Okay, or it may be done at any time. So what is the your answer? Placement evaluation कब करते हैं हम? Before the course, during the course, or end of the course? Hello? Hello? Please reply whether it is right or wrong. इतना बोलने के बाद तो आपको थोड़ा तो आइडिया आया ही रहते हैं. मैं डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन है, प्लेसमेंट एवेल्यूएशन विल बी डन बिफोर द कोर्स. Formative evaluation is during the course or program, during the program before completion. Diagnostic also evaluation is done at any time in the program. But summative is name indicates it done at the end of completion of the course. That is summative evaluation. Abhi bolo answer. Placement evaluation will be done before course or before program or during the program or after the end of the program or after the end of the course. When will we do the placement evaluation? Hello?
Before program.
Yes. So formative evaluation
During the course of program.
summative evaluation
At the end.
at the end. So these are the things I will share the PPT. You will once again you go through the recordings and read once again. Then you will completely understand this concept. These are a little bit tricky. कुछ भी नहीं है लेकिन एक बार समझने के लिए थोड़ा टाइम लगता है because we are new for these things. So next class we will see the detailed explanation, detail syllabus का manual में क्या है, what is the assessment and evaluation के बारे में क्या पता बोला है, ये हमने डिटेल में देखेंगे. Just I am telling you that for your understanding. So see G3 assessment, ये कॉलम है ना, ये G3 असेसमेंट के लिए कॉलम है अब हमारा करिकुलम में. So assessment, this column indicates the method of assessment for a given topic. Various types of assessment are given per as per as domain के हिसाब से अलग अलग assessment methods को दिया है. MCQ कर सकते हैं, extended matching items, SAQ, LAQ, essay rating, modified essay questions, construction response. These are the methods of assessment. अलग अलग method हम use कर सकते हैं assessment में. So what are the importance, क्या क्या है अलग अलग methods use करने से. So if time permits we will discuss these things also in the later classes. Just I am highlighting where is the application of this assessment and evaluation concept, आपको क्यों पता होना चाहिए, ये सारी चीजें हैं आपको. See here H3 column में the formative and summative assessment charts highlights that the assessment methods specified in the G3 are applicable for both formative and summative assessment or some assessment designed solely for formative assessment. आपको अभी पता चला formative assessment क्या है. During the course certain concept, certain chapter को वो लोग formative assessment इतना ही करो बोला है. Some certain chapter और concept को formative and summative दोनों टाइप का evaluation होना चाहिए. That is the concept. अगर आपको formative क्या है, summative क्या क्या है वो clear idea नहीं तो you will not understand what is the things properly. Then if you read this thing you will understand now what are the things. Just I will show another one point. From that, you will able to understand what is the assessment, formative and summative. So based on this thing, you can easily understand what is the formative and summative. Just wait for a few minutes. All of you are visible this one. 6C calculation method of internal assessment marks. This thing. So this is the see from this scheme of assessment, formative and summative. So प्रोफेशनल कोर्स सेकंड कोर्स है, फर्स्ट टर्म में 1 to 6 months में 3 periodical assessment, 6 month में 3 periodical assessment and first term test लेना है हमको. These 3 periodical assessment and first term test consider as a formative assessment or formative evaluation. So that's why I'm telling this evaluation and assessment they are using interchangeably. Don't confuse, but you have to remember both have some difference, but these are interchangeably they are using. So this is assessment formative evaluation, that is nothing but 3 periodical assessment and terminal term test बोल के हम लेते हैं ना 1 to 6 months के बीच में, that forms the formative evaluation. Second term also 3 periodic assessment and second term test करते हैं हम, this is also formative. Then third term में देखो 3 periodical assessment करते हैं हम, डायरेक्टली हमने term test नहीं करते because already the final exam आया रहते, इसलिए it is university exam. This is university exam is summative evaluation. समझ में आ गया आपको? These things we called as a formative evaluation. Internal assessment क्या लेते हैं, periodic assessment, term test, these are formative. The university exam is the summative. So here they have given the university examination shall be for entire syllabus. So कैसे हम आप assessment को मैच करना, वो मिक्स करना, एक कैलकुलेशन करने के लिए, बाकी कुछ नहीं. Just another thing I want to highlight. Just to wait for 1 minute. Another thing we have to know. How to rotate this one. See here, this column, it is showing horizontally. This thing, all of you are seeing this F and S. Are you seeing this F and S? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So see this, explain and report the various measures adopted in the industry for the prevention and control of occupational disease. This point के लिए ये लोगों ने क्या बताया, कौन सा टाइप ऑफ असेसमेंट बताया, फॉर्मेटिव एंड समेटिव दोनों करना है. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस. सिलेबस में और करिकुलम में दिया है हमको कौन सा इसके कॉन्सेप्ट, कौन सा पॉइंट के लिए फॉर्मेटिव एंड समेटिव असेसमेंट और एवल्यूशन करना है. दैट इज द थिंग आई वांट टू. अगर एफ लिखा है दैट कॉन्सेप्ट इज ओनली फॉर फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट. अगर एस लिखा है, सी हियर ओनली एफ लिखा है, दिस इज फॉर्मेटिव. एफ एंड एस लिखा है, बोथ फॉर्मेटिव एंड समेटिव वो दोनों करना है. सिंपली एस लिखा है दैट इज समेटिव. फाइनल एग्जाम में ही वो कॉन्सेप्ट को पूछना है. सो दैट टेल्स द इसका मीनिंग यही होता है, फॉर्मेटिव एंड समेटिव में ऐड करना है नहीं करना है, दैट थिंग. सो this document is opening horizontally, so that's why I'm not able to show you clearly. So anyway, whether you understood what I am telling, if you open the syllabus, there is a column. That is the thing, whether the formative type of evaluation should be done or summative type or both. for that particular concept they have mentioned in the curriculum. That is the concept. समझ में आ गया आपको? अभी थोड़ा आइडिया आ गया व्हाट इज द फॉर्मेटिव एंड समेटिव एवेल्यूएशन, व्हाई इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, वेयर इट इज देयर इन द आवर करिकुलम. अगर आपको फॉर्मेटिव का मतलब क्या है, ड्यूरिंग द करिकुलम और ड्यूरिंग द कोर्स, ड्यूरिंग द प्रोग्राम इफ यू डन, that is the formative. After the end of that course, if you are doing the evaluation, that is summative. This thing you have to remember. All of you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any doubt you may ask, or I will end this session.